Today I'm going to chat with you about mining operations being conducted without considerations for security. We all know the verse can be a rough place, and I certainly don't expect or would never attempt to conduct a mining operation in hostile territory without protection. That being said, for the sake of this bit of theory crafting, we are going to speak to the mining directives first and foremost. The first priority for any mining operation is scouting for several reasons. First, and the simplest, is to speak to that part of the mining operation I wish to forego for this conversation, and that's safety. Outside of safety, the primary goal is locating something to mine. To that end, many times in larger operations, I send everyone out to scout. Scouts, prospectors, moles, it doesn't matter. Everyone's goal is to locate something to mine. Once some targets have been found, then we dispatch a breaking team, which usually consists of two prospectors working together. For now, we don't have a 315P or any ship with a tractor beam, so there's no way to isolate the inert or make nice stacks of 100% Quantanium rocks where it would be convenient to scoop them. So the prospectors primarily focus on breaking the rocks. First break, second break, etc. The goal is then to have the mole sweep in towards the end of the breaking and sweep up, hopefully specifically kitted for scooping with FLTRXLs and more or less to utilize that 96 SCU cargo hold. So scouts find the rocks, prospector breaking teams arrive to break the rocks, and moles are used to scoop and sweep up. The goal is to have those units working cohesively. For instance, with no mechanics to mark the rocks or place beacons on them, or upload their coordinates to an organization-based central data network, see what I did there, hint hint, the scouts have to sit and wait on the rocks for the prospector breaking team to show up, or at least one of them. Once the prospectors arrive, the scout's free to go, to scout more, or in some cases provide overwatch, but I mentioned we wouldn't be speaking about that, so. Once the breaking team is completed, or shortly before, the mole should arrive and be ready to scoop. When this is done correctly, you can be quite efficient. Coordinating a larger operation with multiple breaking teams of moles can take quite a bit of logistical planning. We're always looking at ways to prevent a bottleneck and improve our efficiencies. On this night, a group of 11 of us did 395 SCU in 2 hours. The moles didn't actually scoop all of the Quantanium. As you can imagine, there are times when you locate rocks that are 32 SCU, or maybe a touch over 32 SCU with some tailings. And there are times when we do prioritize the prospector just to go ahead and take those and return those to the refinery. That's the reason that it's nice to have several breaking teams on deck. So if you do happen to come across something, nobody's waiting too long before a prospector breaking team comes along. For the most part, all night long, the mole is just back and forth from the mining sites, scooping, back to the refinery. The mining sites, scooping, and back to the refinery. We are really looking forward to, as an operation, beginning to weave in refueling mechanics, as well as the MISC expanse and the ability to refine materials without having to return to the refineries, the stations that do the refining. It's really going to be interesting as we move forward how some of those new mechanics are going to layer into the mining process, and whether or not having some more localized resources like fuel and the ability to do mobile refining improve the efficiencies. I do wonder how quickly the MISC expanse could process its materials. And one of the reasons is because, are you going to be able to start a refining job and then store the expanse? It's a very interesting thought, and I'm not sure that I understand exactly how all that's going to work. But my hope is that the expanse actually has the ability to process much faster than the stations do now. In which case, there may be some cargo hauling elements that need to be woven into the mining operation as well. So, that's some of the basics when we're discussing mining and mining operations, certainly at the scale that we conduct them in currently. We may have to break into individual teams in the future if the organization continues to grow. For now, I'm very pleased with the group that we have, and I do think that we are evolving our efficiencies in a way that leads me to believe that we're going to be highly efficient in the future. Of course, all that goes into the wind if you're facing resistance or a pirate organization that's decided to target your group. But that's a conversation for another day. Take care, fly safe, and I'll see you all around the verse.